All right, hello and welcome to another episode of Douglasville Impact, our community podcast. I'm Jason Post, and we have a fun show ahead of us today. We got some great guests, so we're going to jump right in. Joining us, if I can figure out where everybody's at again, joining us to my this way is, I believe, is Mr. Aaron Szarowicz.
Hey.
Joining us in that corner down there again somewhere is Ms. Kellie Hunter, and our special guest today, joining us, I think, in the bottom square down here, is Miss Elena Hudson, who's going to talk a little bit about what everyone's favorite local restaurant is doing during this special time. So, you guys all doing good? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on the show. Everybody having a good week?
Doing great.
Doing good. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, that introduction almost felt like the Brady Bunch kind of thing.
You know? It feels a little bit like that, doesn't it?
I was getting those vibes too.
We thought about going with like a Hollywood Squares theme, you know?
That would have worked too. Yeah.
Let's go with Aaron for the block, whichever way we decided he was. We'll go ahead and jump in and let Aaron tell us some of the newsy stuff that's been going on in and around the city and that community. What's happening, Aaron?
Oh, so much. So many good things happening in Douglasville. First, we'll just jump right in with the budget meeting public hearings that are going to happen. So the first public hearing will take place tomorrow evening. That's May 14th at 5:30. That is where our finance director, Karen Callan, will make her presentation of the proposed fiscal year 2021 budget, which sounds really weird to say, but we're there already.
You should say it 3 times fast.
Yeah, I'll skip that for this one because I didn't practice that. But yeah, so that's actually going to be tomorrow. So if anybody wants to tune into that, that will be live streamed on YouTube at mycititv.com. That's mycititv.com. That'll be in the show notes, I'm sure. So don't worry about remembering that. And then we'll have the second
budget document on the website as well. If anybody wants to just, if he's curious and just wants to go and peruse a full budget document.
Yeah, I was just looking at it this morning. So really fun reading.
That's just what you like to do in your free time.
That's right.
Available. If you've run out of things to do, sheltered in place.
That's right.
There you go.
So that'll be on the finance page. There'll be a link to that. And then we'll have the second budget public hearing on May 28th. So a couple of weeks, and that will be the one where mayor and council hopefully adopt the fiscal year 2021 budget.
Yep.
So that's that. Next, we announced, I think this week, that the Municipal Court will resume its proceedings. That'll be on Wednesday, May 20th. So that's 1 week from today. You can find on our website all of the guidelines. I think there's like 11 major guidelines that they're going to be following. But I can give you a couple of the highlights here. So only defendants will be allowed in the courtroom, and they're going to be, practicing strict social distancing. So everyone's going to have to, stay at least 6 feet apart. And then they are allowing those who are 60 years and older, if they feel uncomfortable about going and if they have health problems and whatnot, they can contact the municipal court and get one court date reschedule, so they can push it back a little bit if they're feeling a little nervous about that. And then since only one person will be allowed in at a time, for those who need an interpreter, also can call the municipal court and work that out with them. So I'll just give the number for the municipal court for those who want to call, and this will be in the show notes as well. So you can call them at 678-293-1858, and they'll work with you on that. So they're going to be really good about that. And they also note that they are running on a strict schedule. So if you are going to arrive early, arrive no earlier than 15 minutes before your scheduled time. For those who arrive late the first time, they'll be given a second or a new date and time for their hearing. And if they show up late second time, they're going to be fined additional $200 on top of whatever it is that they have to take care of. So make sure you're there on time and you'll be good. And then everyone will be required to wear a mask who enters the courtroom. So make sure that you come with a mask, and they have like a little screening process before you'll enter the courtroom. So you can go through all that when you get there. So again, if you have any questions or need further information, you can visit our website, douglasvillega.gov, or call the Municipal Court at 678-293-1858. Again, those will be in the show notes. And then kind of some good news, or better news, I should say, because that news that I just reported is good news.
They're called good news, yeah.
So there have been two, major downtown projects that we've kind of undertaken. First is the old jail demolition. We're about 75% complete with that demolition. Just a couple underground things that we need to remove, some concrete and some fencing. And then once that's all cleared, which should be relatively soon, they've been working pretty consistently on that the past few months. But once all that's removed, then they'll do another survey of the land so they can figure out how they're going to start constructing the amphitheater and the green space and all that good stuff. So
they've made some big progress down there, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a really exciting thing that's happening. So
yeah, and just based off what I've seen, it doesn't seem like the project has been delayed at all due to this pandemic. To my just what I've seen, so that's great.
Right. Yeah. Yep. They've been working away, so that's really
nice
awesome.
View of the whole project down there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even walked down there recently, so I got to go check that out and see what's happening.
Oh yeah. Now that all the buildings are done, you can really see how big that space is.
Yeah.
We see all the renderings. You're like, how are they going to put all that stuff in that little area? But now that
I think it's like 9 or 10 acres, right?
8, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of crazy that there's that much land downtown available. But
I love that it's happening in my backyard too.
Yeah,
right. Definitely.
So then at the other end of downtown, we have another demolition project that's been happening since last summer, and that is the old mill. So they've been working on that quite a bit as well. And I think there's only the basement level left of the old mill, which is kind of crazy that they had a basement to begin with. Yeah. But anyways, that's all that's left to pull out of the ground. So once they do that, they'll kind of level everything and it'll be ready for development. So that'll kind of coincide well with the opening up of the Highway 92 relocation and all that stuff, which has been, making huge strides on their project recently too, which is awesome. So I was just down there the other day and it was great.
Do you know if there's any master plans that we're going to have for the old mill project, similar to how we did the town green?
That I'm not sure. I think we're kind of looking at private redevelopment for that space. Okay. Commercial development and stuff like that. But, we're just kind of focused on getting it ready, and then we'll kind of explore that once things start to get back to normal, I think, which who knows when that's going to be. But
yeah, I think the main project there was to clear it and make it safe and make it a nice, viable spot. And then once that's done, it's a prime location for all kinds of things, because it will be right there on Veterans Memorial Highway and the new 92. You're at a huge intersection, so it's a great location for all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I think they're looking for private investors to come in and do something really neat there.
Awesome.
We're just doing our part to kind of prep it, get it ready, which they made a lot of progress on. So
yeah, that's awesome. So a lot of big things coming up in the next couple of years. So that's really great. And then finally, on my drive in this morning, I noticed that the Dunkin' on Fairburn Road is open for business. So looking for some coffee or some donuts, it's open, man. So stop by.
America runs on Dunkin'.
That's
right.
I
do too.
So I didn't stop at that one, but I did stop at Dunkin' this morning and get some coffee. So
Hey, Duncan.
yeah.
Nice.
So those are some of the big news items that have been happening this couple weeks. Stay tuned.
Excellent, thanks. And not that budget hearings and court dates reopening isn't fun and exciting, happy stuff, but I think Kellie's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the more fun and happy things going on in the community, right, Kellie?
That's right. In a situation, in a situation like we're facing, it's good to always highlight and focus on the positive, help everybody's attitudes and coping skills through what we're working through. We had our very own Maya Jackson hit the TV shows on the Today Show yesterday. Maya Jackson is a graduate of Georgia State, so she's graduating, and her sister Madison from high school. Their mom, Tanya Jackson, they made the virtual wall, and she got to congratulate her children, her two daughters, and express how proud she is of each of them. And that was exciting. They got chosen out of the panel of, I guess, submitted, people that joined that Zoom virtual wall. So that was exciting. The link to that will be in the show notes if you haven't seen it. And of course, always on the city social media site, you can catch that as well. Elena Myers-Taylor, she's made the news. There was a story and a clip released for her, featured in the Washington Post. She is a top U.S. bobsledder here local from the Douglasville area. Several medals, I think a gold and a silver in there. And she will be contending for her fourth Olympics coming up. And she's doing that. This article focuses on the fact that she's a new mother and working through the restrictions kind of imposed upon when you're working in a pandemic. She's doing an excellent job. Her son's 2.5 months old, Nico, and doing a great job. Boy, I watch her on social media. I follow her. So seeing how she's taking him to her workouts, and he's watching mom do her thing. So that's
of the
cool.
workouts that she was doing before she actually had him. Did you see any of those? She was doing squats and presses and stuff. And she's like 8, 9 months pregnant. It's like, good. She's just generally impressive. Every time we've kind of met her and done things with her, she's an impressive person in general.
I agree.
Yeah. She is, and she's just shown us all along how you stay with your dream, how you pursue it, no matter what the obstacles, because she had some injuries in there too, along in her career. So she's just really persevered, pressed through. I know she has a great support with her husband. He's also on bobsled team. And so that's exciting. That's local.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, listen, the Douglas County Chamber is offering their dining card program. It's a great way to support our local businesses and show our love on the front line healthcare workers. All of the details, it's a card that you purchase. Let's see here what my details tell me. They're available for $20. The special features offers 10 local chamber member restaurants. 100% of the proceeds go toward the Douglas Strong Fund Relief. Douglas County dining card is a value up to $80, and it's valid from June 1 through December 31st of 2020. And let me tell you some of the goodies on this card. We've got a couple of people that are offering free appetizers. Blue Rose Bistro right there in downtown Douglasville. Burke's Grill out on Chapel Hill Road. There's a little bit of maybe definitions to each of the restaurants' offerings, but basically a free appetizer at Carabo's Italian Grill out on Chapel Hill Road as well. Gabe's downtown is offering a free appetizer. Our special guest, Hudson's Hickory House, they offer a free appetizer. Texas Roadhouse out on Chapel Hill Road. The Other Side, which is in downtown Villa Rica. And let's see, there's a couple of other things that are offered. Williamson Brothers Barbecue is offering a free pork or chicken sandwich with the purchase of a platter. Shane's Rib Shack is offering a buy one, get one half off pork plate. And then for dessert, make your way to the farmer's table on Highway 5 for a free slice of cake. Put some sweets on there.
Oh.
So that's great.
Mhm.
That's happening here local. And, it's great that we can support our local businesses. I know it's been a tough season, and we're not out of the stretch yet. So let's make our way to support our local businesses in the food industry, as well as, when you're shopping, think about what can you do. I know a lot of businesses are making, they're being innovative in the way that they're servicing their customers. And so check out our local businesses first. And another thing to check out, if you're a business, the Douglas County Chamber, man, they have got a lot of virtual support for the businesses going on during this time. And
I'd love to add to that, Kelly. I personally, I love the chamber. They do such a fabulous job. And I was just telling a friend of mine in the community who's also a business owner, just how amazing it's been to have the chamber support through this. Sarah Ray, the CEO, she's just a call away. I've called her a few times now to ask her just various questions, and they're all just so helpful. And, even them having to completely change their model and approach to how they service businesses. And I know that wasn't a change they were expecting to kind of have so quickly. So it's just been incredible. They've been such a support to my business, at least. And I know they have to so many other businesses in the community.
They have, and I've been on several of their different type. I think Tuesday through Friday, you can find something virtually online. I know
we're usually on there together.
That's right. Right after this, I'm going to jump in on the digital marketing training that's going on. So great tool, great access. And if you're not a chamber member, you really want to be. So reach out and make that connection. But there is a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of good things that are positive for our community. And it's been inspiring to see everybody join together, partner together, and support one another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Kelly, for all the good, happy news. And speaking of good things, Miss Elena Hudson, we're going to talk a little bit about what you guys do to make downtown Douglasville smell so heavenly on a daily basis. So what all do you guys tell us a little bit about so Hudson's is clearly a staple. If you're in Douglasville, you know where Hudson's is, you know what it is, you go there often. So tell us a little bit about what you guys have been dealing with through the whole pandemic, and what kind of special things you guys have set up and how you are operating. And let's just talk a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, first, thanks so much for having me again. What have we not been doing? Oh my goodness. This entire situation has just been about thinking on our feet and doing it so quick. Every single day has brought about a new challenge, and it's been just such a learning experience for me personally, at least. Whether it's abruptly having to close our dining room in midday whenever they made that announcement, or me having to file crisis unemployment for all of my staff members and just making sure they're taken care of. Having to file for the business loans. We filed for the PPP, the payroll protection loan through the SBA. Creating new ways to serve our customers and reach them, the constantly evolving safety measures and precautions we have to take, or, even right now we're undergoing a nationwide meat shortage. So I have no idea what will be thrown at me next.
What's next?
I know.
You can make it through this. You can make it through pretty much anything.
Yeah,
that's really how I feel. So thank you for that. Yeah. And, not only that, I'm finishing up my senior year at the University of West Georgia. I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree. I have a double major in marketing and business management. And so this is supposed to be just okay, I'm going to take a step back from work and focus on school, but God's plan is always so much different than yours. And sure enough, it was the exact opposite experience. But nonetheless, I promise it's been an educational experience in real world sense. Honestly, from implementing our curbside services, I am so thankful for that, along with our takeout services and catering. Because we can't open our dining room, so that's been helpful in sustaining us in the meantime, for sure.
Yeah.
I bet you could write a course to add to your business management on how to survive.
If I could find some time, I would love to do that, because I think I could probably at least start something or get an outline going.
Okay.
But, and only in addition to that, I serve as our chief operations officer, but also our chief marketing officer. And so for me, I feel like I've had to kind of completely take a step back as far as our social media is concerned and like rebranding in the sense, because now it was just a different type of marketing entirely, reminding customers that we're open, posting every day, consistency, letting them know constantly what measures we're taking. I feel like I'm very transparent when it comes to all matters. I was very transparent about the meat shortage because it's affecting us very tremendously and it's out of our control at that. For example, we ordered 20 cases of meat, and mind you, that's like hundreds of pounds. I don't have an exact number on that. And we only got 4 cases of it. And so, for us, that is like a big deal. My father, Scott, and I were just like, oh no, this is not good. So we've been literally all over the place, just trying to get our hands on any amount of supply that we can, just to, again, be able to have business. And so that's been another obstacle that we weren't even really expecting.
Yeah. Wow.
Like you said, I think it's something new every single day kind of crops up. And I think you're right. And then the same thing we've been doing, something new crops up every day. And you mentioned transparency. We're just trying to get whatever happens, we're getting new information out and being as open with everyone as possible so they know what's going on. That seems to be what the biggest thing with this whole pandemic and the fear and everything associated is the not knowing.
Right.
I agree.
So much we don't know, and along the way we've gone this whole time. There's just been so much that we just don't know, that nobody was quite sure about. So as much as we can do to say, all right, here's all the information we have at the moment, and tell as many people as we can, what's going on, so people know. I think people find security in at least having that knowledge, in a nice, just clearly presented way. So yeah, letting people know what you're struggling with. I think people are really understanding right now as well. People know what's going on. They understand if you guys have a shortage, it's not, they're not ranting and raving, too much. They understand that we're all in a special situation. It's just communicating and keeping those open channels with everyone and stuff. So yeah, you guys have been doing a great job. You're always, you can tell you're always on your social media and putting stuff out there and stuff. So
thank you.
For sure.
If I could, I've been impressed seeing how you've helped and jumped in with your part in supporting the community in a lot of different ways. The first responders, and give us a little bit of heads up on that.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've just always, speaking for my father, Scott, and my grandfather, Buford, we're just so thankful to have the community support we have. It's unlike anything I would have ever imagined. Growing up, I always had it, but now that I'm older and can actually be so aware of how many people love us and support us. And I've seen so many people my whole life that come in 3 and 4 times a day, that are 3 and 4 times a week. And I don't even know them, but it's they're related to me because I just grew up with such that strong sense of community. And so for us, it's about giving back to that community and doing what we can. And for us, it's been doing that with local schools, hospitals, local churches. We've extended our community service efforts to healthcare workers during this time, specifically Wellstar Douglas, Tanner, Villarica, Tanner Carrollton, Emory, Atlanta. And I think there's a couple more I can't think of right now. In addition to that, we fed 911 operators, the fire department, of course. They always put our fires out, so we have to keep them fed. And then, just any way that we can help. If somebody calls and we can do what we can to help, as long as we are able to, that's to us just the least we can do to give back to our community.
That's great. Hey, I know I've been frequenting your location since 1975. In high school, I'd walk over after band practice from Douglas County High School, pick up a sweet tea, sometimes some fries and a sandwich. So, yeah, you've been around a while and made an impact in a lot of lives.
Skipping school for Hudson sweet tea. I always heard that.
Yeah. Love the ice, then and now. Mm-hmm.
I actually have a bag now if you want to come buy a bag.
There you go. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, you can't. Good ice is always a great thing. Yeah, you can't say too much about some good ice. Well, that's awesome. So yeah, we definitely appreciate all that you guys are doing to support the community, and and all that you're doing to make sure that you guys are still sustaining as well, because you want Hudson's to continue to be around forever and ever. So
we appreciate that. One other thing I wanted to touch on with part of our sustainability is some of the small business loans that are available. We personally applied for the PPP, and again, this was really scary, honestly, for me, applying for this huge business loan, really, and trying to educate myself on it in the process because it's completely new. And that, again, that's where the chamber came in, and they were very helpful. But it took quite a while, and I was actually worried that we weren't going to be able to get it. And then we ended up getting the second phase. And I feel like that's one thing. It might be a little bit more controversial, but it seems like kind of small businesses are tending to get the short end of the stick on the PPP. I don't know if you've kind of heard about some of the issues with that, with kind of the large corporations taking advantage. I'm so thankful that we were able to secure that in the second phase. I believe that there's a third round of it coming around now, but yeah. That's just one thing that I want to point out. I know that some small businesses weren't as lucky as we were to get that loan and secure it. And, not even that, but I have some business owners that aren't getting any revenue in at all. They have daycare facilities or gyms and so it's such a scary time for the business community. And that's definitely one huge struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think they tried so hard to get some of this stuff out so quickly that there were some loopholes and different things, and that's the first rounds and stuff that allowed for that. Hopefully they've kind of addressed some of those in the later rounds. Definitely. And like I said, we're slowly starting to open back up. We've got the governor comes out every week with some new stuff. He talked yesterday. So we have new guidelines that he kind of put out yesterday, but when you actually read through his full executive order, there's a lot of limitations. I guess people are hearing open back up. You can open back up. But when you go and you start reading all those stipulations, there's a lot of guidelines and stipulations and limitations and stuff that are in there. So you mentioned gyms. My wife works at a gym. The gym itself can open back up, but she does the group fitness. Group fitness can't start back yet. That's one of the stipulations. So there's a lot of things like that are in the little details of the executive orders. When you get down to restaurants, there's a lot of guidelines and a lot of stuff that you have to do, and to open up your dining room, you have to look at it and say, all right, here's all the restrictions we have, and can we open up with the limited space that we're allowed to have and a limited number of people and still make it worth staffing it and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff
exactly
that people aren't really thinking about. So there's a lot more to it than you think. We've got the full, every time he releases a new executive order, Webmaster Chris puts it on the website, so you can go and read the full thing if you really want to. We try to pull all the big bullet points out to let people know, but there's a lot of details in there that we try to skim through and figure out so we can answer people's questions when they call in. So with that, you guys have a thought on, have you looked at the opening the dining room, what that looks like and what your long-term plans are? Do you have any kind of plans yet?
No solid plans as of right now. We're currently looking at June 1st, but again, I said that about May 1st, and then obviously the situation didn't change as much as we were anticipating on it to. So I hate to quote a solid answer at this time. One of the biggest reasons, again, that you mentioned, the city sent me a little checklist for restaurants, and I think it's over 3 pages long. And I haven't had a chance to read through it yet, but I was just like, wow, this is a lot. And it's not that we are not willing to do it, but as I mentioned previously, I seriously already have 100 things going on at once. And to add all these other necessary things that are putting people's life at stake, that's a whole different ball game. And it's not something we have a solid answer on yet. I definitely have been in contact with my employees who are not working, because I gave any of my employees with like that are having young children or with elderly, like everyone was given the decision to work or to not work. I filed unemployment for everyone, even the partially employed, again, just taking care of them the best I can. But I've been in contact with them. We're still getting unemployment and they're still taken care of in that sense. It's definitely weird having a half staff though. And having like half my building, all the lights are off, and I'm sure my dad likes the lower power bill, but it's definitely strange.
Yeah, so that's definitely something people, because the restaurant industry in general has such a thin kind of profit margin in there anyway. So I mean, when you go in and say you have to cut half of your tables out of the restaurant, you know, you can serve half as many people, but you know, does that still work in your business plan and the staff that you have to have and things like that? So there's a lot of things like that you gotta.
It's like a whole nother position as well, just like for sanitation alone. I know that's what a lot of restaurants that are already opening back in Atlanta. I have a couple of friends and they've opened up just several sanitation positions, and it's separate than a busser, separate than a dishwasher. Mm-hmm. And like, that's a whole nother payroll. So
yeah,
again, you need the help. So something we have to consider for sure.
So I think everybody's going to take everything a little slow. I think you guys are like, we can set those dates. All the dates that anybody is setting at this point are fluid dates, and they just kind of float down the road as things change until we hit dry land and really in solid land and know that things have officially changed. Take every date you hear with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
They may change. It's kind of the world we're living in now, and we're kind of getting used to it, I'm afraid. And we're all just kind of floating down the road. I think you guys are the norm. I don't think a lot of the restaurants are opening their dining rooms up.
However, seeing other downtown businesses do the same, it seems like it tends to be more of a trend with like the corporate restaurants, but they probably don't have as much of the decision as far as individually, which I completely understand. But it's just making the community feel safe. When I put out that we were going to continue being closed, I didn't have any customers say like, that's crazy. You know, everyone was like, thank you so much for doing that. We totally agree. So again, it's much easier making decisions that's best for your business when you have the community support behind you.
Yeah. And that's what's great. I think everyone's being very supportive and understanding at this point because they know the special situations we're in. So this was great about Douglasville and Douglas County and our community in general. Everybody's so supportive. You know, we said this almost every show. We've talked about some of these fundraiser things going on from the start. There were just people coming out of the woodwork saying, you know, how can we help? What can we do to help? What can we do to support? You know, and stuff like that. So that's our community, and we love it. That's why we love this community. Everybody's just kind of so helpful and stuff and positive. So that helps us with our job as well. So
I couldn't agree more, Jason.
And I want to applaud you for, you know, accepting the challenge, so to speak, and the resilience of yourself, your company, your family, going ahead and staying the charge, staying the course, writing it out, being innovative, making changes. And, you know, that speaks a lot to our local community as well, too, with a lot of hard times happening for everyone.
You're
so we're praying for you. Yeah, we're praying for you, and excited that, you know, you're embracing the challenge and the opportunity. And I'm just praying good things and favor for you.
Thank you. That literally means so much. I could not do it without the support of my mom and dad. I can't tell you how many times I've called my mom on the phone, like, what do I do about this? Or what do I do about this? And she's so helpful with helping me, you know, kind of sort out my thoughts. And again, with my dad, he's been so supportive. It's his restaurant. Of course, I'm just helping my dad as much as I can. I'm still finishing school, but I've learned so much about this business, and just getting to learn it from him is like a million times better.
That's great.
Well, that is awesome. So I think that's probably all of our time for the day, but I do appreciate you coming on and telling us what you guys have been doing, and we appreciate that you are still down there serving away. If there's anything we can do to help, please let us know. So we're glad you're still around, and we'll continue to be around. So
thank you.
Thanks, Aaron and Kelly, as well, for joining us today, and thank you for everyone who is watching today. Again, anything we talked about, you can find in our show notes, any links to anything we've made reference to. You can find a wealth of knowledge on our website, douglasvillega.gov as well. If you have any questions, we get all our contact information there as well. Feel free to reach out about anything that's going on. Like I said, we got new information and new things coming in daily. If you got questions about any of them, feel free to reach out on our social media, on our website, email us, call us. However, if we don't know the answers, we can refer you to somebody that will, or at least guess with you. Because we're trying to figure it out along the way, just like everyone else. But we'll be happy to help however we possibly can. So just let us know how we can help. Thanks again for joining us, for watching, for listening, and we'll see you next time on Douglasville Impact. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.